Hello everyone, I'm Brian here. I'm reacting to This Is Not Yoga, Acharya Prashant. So, there's a video I did earlier with, I believe, Sadhguru, talking about, and how I talked about how yoga in the United States, perhaps in the West, but I know for sure in the United States, majority of it, or at least a lot of it, is not genuine yoga. And what I mean is it's not the practice of enlightenment or discovering your true self. It's more like calming oneself, which I do believe it to be part of it. Like obviously when you do genuine yoga, you are calming the mind, you're calming the body at the very least, because I don't think you can do yoga if your mind is kind of like all over the place or your emotions are kind of going rampant. So that is one part of yoga, which is probably the only part of yoga that's practiced in the West, is calming of the mind and calming of your emotions. Um, and I think that's what they think yoga is. That's the reason why I say I don't believe westernized yoga is genuine yoga. Although there are some genuine yogas in the Western world, but I think majority of it is, the westernized version of it, the dumbed down version of it. So, anyways, that's the reason why I picked this one. It's like, okay, this is not yoga. This is something we talked about recently. Let's see what Acharya has to say about it.
Everybody who wants to have his share of the limelight, coming in front of the camera and displaying a few physical poses and passing that off as yoga. That is not at all yoga. That's a stretching exercise. Or that could be strength exercise without using external weights. You go to the gym, you use iron weights, or you could do the same exercises using body weight. Now, stretching and strength building, this is not at all yoga. I'm not denying the importance of this. Everybody should have a flexible body. Stretching is great. We all must have powerful muscles. So, having a well-toned and strong body is again great. But please, that is not yoga. That is not yoga. Let's not corrupt the very concept itself. And if you will go closely into the psychological aspects of it, the ego has a vested interest in limiting yoga, in actually caging yoga within the concept of physicality. Because if yoga is not arrested within the bodily walls of physicality, then yoga will attack the ego itself, and the ego does not want that. So the ego has played a clever, dirty trick. It has said, yoga is wonderful, yoga is great, and yoga is physical. Now the moment you liberate yoga from these artificial and unwise physical constraints, yoga becomes such a powerful force of life transformation. Then you have to read, then you have to understand. Then you have to go into what Patanjali and Sri Krishna actually meant. Now, that is something we do not want to go into. But we are very happy with having a slim body because it helps in doing whatever we want to do. And that's the evil in it, whatever we want to do. Why do you want to do whatever? Why don't you do that which is right? And yoga is about that itself, doing what is right, not doing whatever.
Real quick question. He keeps saying yog. I don't know. Is that like a shortened version that the way he says yoga, instead of saying yoga he says yog, or is there something culturally that in his culture they don't say yoga, they say yog, or is that how it's properly pronounced, yog, in the A silent? I don't know. I've always pronounced it yoga.
You have ample gurus who will come over and say, oh, you do this, and then you can do whatever you want to do. Now, the moment you hear this kind of phraseology, that yoga will help you do better whatever you want to do, I suppose one must run away. Because that's exactly antithetical to yoga. Yoga is not about doing whatever you want to do. It's ego that says that, not the dedicated, devoted, wise mind. No, that does not come from there. It's I mean amazing the ways of the inner mischief maker. We can take the greatest gift given to us and turn it into something that we want to use as almost as an intoxicant, you know, like youngsters who take cough syrups to get inebriated. There is no medicine that cannot be used as as a narcotic drug, and that's what we are doing to yoga as well. It's a medicine.
Absolutely.
Yes, please.
You're saying that we have to do the right thing for the right reason in the right manner. You know, absolutely right intent. And again, you're talking of doing the right dharma in every aspect, having the right thoughts, having the right action, having balance in pursuit of even economic benefit in worldly goals, using the right means to achieve the right ends. You know, so means are equally important. If you're right, we are so identified by our name, our body, where we come from. We don't identify as souls. We don't identify as you know souls in a body, so to say. So I understand it. Let me ask you another question. Today on the World Yoga Day, is there a mantra you already said? Do the right thing for the right reason. You already said, don't abuse your body, don't abuse your mind, and mind comes from right practice, from doing the right things, balance in life, doing whatever your dharma is, whatever you do, there is the right thing to do in that, doing that. And when your mind, they say, when your mind and your actions are in sync, what you say, what you do, what you believe, if all three are in sync, then you have a healthy mind, so to say. You have a healthy living, you have a harmonious living, whatever word you want. You are living to your higher purpose. I mean, what is this fixation with perfection today? I am a Hindu. I only believe the perfect person is Lord Shiva. You know, only Lord Shiva is perfection incarnated, right? So, what? How do we live our life? While it is a conversation on yoga and yoga, you brought in a larger connotation. Doing yoga in what context? Doing yoga for what purpose? No, and hence, give us some thumb rules for living your life. Then.
You see, that exactly is the point. If you take Shiv as perfection, then there has to be a certain love for perfection. And life has to be a relentless, unending pursuit of that perfection. That which might be unattainable, and the scriptures clearly say so, that it is something that you will never really get to hold or come to touch or really meet in the normal sense of the word. But still, if you just remain devoted to it and pursue it, life will become worth living. Not the attainment. Even the pursuit is sufficient.
Hold on. So what I'm gathering from this last statement that he said is the sheer fact that perfection is something that we can never achieve because we are not perfect beings. But obviously we are Brahman, which is a perfect being, I believe. I don't know if it's a being or not, but I look at this kind of as a materialistic point of view, not in terms of necessarily Advaita Vedanta point of view. So we as human beings, we seek perfection, we seek to be enlightened, and we can never achieve that. According to what I'm hearing here, let me know if I'm wrong. But the whole point is not to achieve enlighten. Sorry, not enlightenment, not to achieve perfection, because that is something that we can never attain. But the pursuit of it is good enough, and by pursuing it, life will be worth living according to what it says. And that's actually I was going to make a comment. It's like I don't want. I would love a perfect life, but I know it's not achievable. But I will do my best to live as much of as a perfect life as possible. That's a difficult statement to say, but yes, meaning I'll do my best to make my life as perfect as possible, knowing that it will never be perfect, and with that knowledge, being content with my life. It's not to say that I will absolutely strain my body and mind to achieve perfection. No, then you're just struggling the entire time because you will never achieve it. But I think it is more to say that do the best that you can. Um, and I don't believe necessarily struggling with everything in your life is the right way to do it. There are some things worth struggling for, and I do believe majority of things in life it's not worth struggling for. I believe it's to be content. I do believe majority of life is meant to be contentment, meaning you're happy the way it is or the way it's going with what you have. So being happy with the house that you have and not looking to buy a 26-room mansion, to struggle to get that and you may not achieve that and you struggled your entire life, to have 26 different cars but maybe the car that's about 10 years old that can get you to places that you need to, being content with that. um, Not being the CEO of a company, but perhaps it might be worth pursuing, might be worth struggling to get up to a certain point. Maybe not CEO, but working your way up the corporate ladder. Maybe it is worth a little bit of a struggle there. Um, I don't believe life is meant to be completely a struggle. There are you will have some struggles in it, and you have to overcome it. But I do believe majority of life you're meant to be content with, and being content with life, I do believe you'll be a happier person. I do believe the more struggles you have in life, the more difficult your life will be, the less happy you will be. If you can live life with zero struggles and being perfectly content, I believe you'll probably be the happiest person ever. And that could even mean trying to achieve CEO and not struggling at all. And how does that work? Well, because of how do I say, because you're doing the best of your ability to achieve something, but to you it's not a struggle. A lot of people will see one thing as a struggle, and there'll be some people who do not see that as a struggle, yet it's the exact same thing. There are some people out there who have this, I don't say a vision, but it's a way of life, I guess you could say, that it makes it seem like they have life on easy mode. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say.
And that pursuit is something that would anyway happen if your respect for that which you are calling as perfection or Shiv is genuine. What kind of person am I if I venerate Krishna and have nothing to do with what he is teaching? So, and that is not really a policy or an option or a smart trick to play to oneself. You see, the mind is fed up of its follies. The mind is a constant thirst. The mind is always stuck, always challenged, always bemused, seeks more, is not satisfied with what it has, and does not even know what it really seeks. So, going towards that which you are calling as perfection, somebody could call it contentment, somebody could call it Shiv or Krishna, is anyway the only option that you have, because without that pursuit you will anyway never feel any kind of repose or contentment or rest. One would constantly be agitated, one would constantly be dissatisfied with life. And that's not how we want to spend our life. This is not just theory or ideology. This is the fact of who we are. We are born discontented. And because there is just so much agitation within and darkness within, therefore there is no option but to spend life in pursuit of light. That same light that you could call as perfection or Atma or Brahm or truth or Shiv or Krishna or Ram. The name is your choice. But that's an inevitability with anybody who has some sense and self-love. Why do you want to destroy your ears? That's the question we must ask. I mean, one is already not all right, and one is acting in ways that would only further the inner sense of injury and disquiet. Why does one want to do that? There can be no sensible, plausible reason. So spirituality, therefore, is not something that one gets into. Spirituality has to be the only way of life if one is not adamant on self-destruction.
Absolutely.
The last part, self-destruction, hit me there for a little bit. Then all of a sudden, I think I realized what he's saying, because we are born, at least from what he's saying, we are born unsatisfied, and if we don't seek spirituality, we don't seek contentment, we will never ever be satisfied, and therefore it'll be our destruction, because no matter what we do, we're not satisfied. And imagine constantly living life, doing things, and never ever being satisfied. It's a terrible life, terrible way to live life for sure. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say there. And it sounds like he kind of said, I love the fact he said contentment. It's like, yes, got it. But it's genuinely true, though. I mean, I try to live my life content. I've been mostly content with my life. I'm not going to sit there and say that, oh yeah, 100% contentment all the way through. Not at all. But again, this is the fact, this sheer fact about perfection. It's the fact that I know I'm not perfect. I know there's flaws, and I just have to understand that. And when I understand that there's flaws, those flaws won't cause suffering for me. No, not as much suffering. It's not like it's like, oh man, there's a flaw. Well, good thing I don't suffer from it. It's like, no, I'm going to suffer from that flaw a little bit, but it won't be as bad. Maybe there are people out there who can see their flaws and not suffer. Probably, I don't know. All I know is that I know there are flaws. I know that we suffer from our flaws, but how much we suffer from our flaws is what we can control. Perhaps, maybe even none. I don't know. But anyways, that's my reaction to it. This is Not Yoga, Acharya Prashant. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down, down below. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next vid.